Václav from Bastl Instruments. We are here at MESSE 2015 with Sonic State, and now I would really love to introduce you to our desktop instruments. So what we have here is a couple of Trinities. They are like all the same hardware instruments, but they have different softwares, and each one of them has a slightly different function. So we are now looking at a drum machine here. So basically I have some drum samples to play. Here I have a FM monosynth. It's like monophonic sort of FM type synthesizer. Here I have a polysynth. And here I have a sequencer that can sequence both of those synths, and the drum has built-in sequencer. So if I I've just recorded sequence for this. So yeah, I can use it to make sort of like a grooveboxy stuff. And those instruments are all connected together with side pins, and they share power, MIDI communication, but also they can share audio to mix the signals in a passive way. And I also have our granular sample, micro granny, with a couple of samples on it. And now I have just sample which is looping, and the looping is synchronized to the MIDI clock. And talking about MIDI, I have this MIDI Bastl module, which is just simple breakout for a MIDI out. And now I think we move to the main thing in here, which is our new product. It's still a prototype, and we'll be introducing the final version with full specifications in autumn. And this one is a sequenceable effects processor. So I would like to now focus a bit more about this guy. So basically what I have here are different preset buttons. So basically you have a lot of controls to make a preset. So I will just show you how the controls feel like and what you can actually tweak with it. So first of all, I have the down sample knob. So it makes nice down sampling. I have also crush distortion in here. And first of all, I have a delay line, which is composed of two parameters. It's delay coarse and delay fine. And this sort of division to two parameters really allows me to do really interesting stuff, because most of DSP is basically a clever use of delay line, which can be modulated. And we'll come to the modulation later. So if I tweak, put a bit of feedback, with the fine delay, I have sort of comp filtering effect with the feedback as a resonance. And if I put the chorus delay a bit up, I can have a really like standard delay kind of stuff. Yeah, so basically that's the delay section, but what happens if you start to modulate the delay time is that you can achieve effects like pitch shifting or phasing, flanging. So I have a pretty complex LFO in here, and an LFO shift button to set different factors of the wave shape of the LFO. I have amount of the LFO, rate of the LFO, and phase also of the LFO. And the LFO can be also synced to the MIDI clock. So when I go to LFO shift, I can assign the LFO to the fine of delay and put a bit of amount. So we hear now like a sort of classical phaser effect. If I just put down the rate of the LFO and use a saw wave, I can hear sort of like a pitch shifting effect. And then when combined with the downsample and the other knobs,
yeah, you get some pretty crazy effects.
yes, that's that point. Like you don't have a chorus button or a flanger button. You have just all those knobs that can lead you into those desired effects, but you can explore the whole space in between those. And then I think it's very fascinating, and you have it all hands-on, and it really feels like you're really touching the sound in here.
So it's sequenceable.
Yes, let's go to the sequence now, because that I think is the most fascinating feature about this. So, as I said, like all of this I can store in different presets of all those settings. Like we hear now also LFO controlled panning. Yeah. So we have the LFO controlled panning and a lot of crazy stuff. And when I hit play for the sequencer and I go to record, I can record the presets into the sequencer to change within the sequence. And then I think it's really like awesome. So we have the sequencer, you can sequence this, and like there is a couple of stuff I still haven't mentioned. Like there is a knob automation which sort of overrides all the sequencers and preset settings. So if I hold record and let's say I do a bit of distortion, you see these knobs get automated, also shown on the LED here. And yeah, so you have various automation. You can also record to the sequencer, and you can make really complex sound effects with this machine. Yeah. Just thinking what I forgot to say. Yeah. What is also really nice about this one, there is basically a bypass button, and if we look at the back side, there is a foot switch just for the bypass button. So you can use it really like with a foot switch, like for a guitar or so. There are big jacks in here, headphone mono input, stereo output, because you can do the stereo panning, and that's done actually in analog. So yeah, like if you do the panning, it's an analog path. It doesn't get like sampled and then converted back from digital. All the other stuff is digital. But if you're using just the panning, or if you control the final volume with LFO to get some ring mod sounds or like tremolo effects, yeah, it's an analog path. What's also exciting here is that there is an analog clock input and CV input. And the CV input you can assign to any of those controls on the front panel. And of course there's a MIDI in and sort of MIDI out or MIDI through. We called it MIDI out because it could also convert the analog clock to MIDI clock. So yeah, and with the MIDI in, of course there will be like MIDI CC support, and you could be able to change presets just simply by MIDI notes. And yeah.
So when is it available yet?
No, this is not available. This is still in prototype phase. We'll still need to work a bit more on the final specifications, and maybe to increase a little bit the sound quality parameters, although we really like how it sounds at the moment. I think we still need to give it a bit more work, and we think it should be ready for sale in autumn.
Awesome, thank you very much.
Thank you.